Hi, so yeah, finally a video on the Morchiba track. Yeah, sorry about the wait. Main reason for that was that I was getting a lot more interest from the AS students on their bit of sequencing work. Also, this track, this Morchiba one at least, is pretty much straightforward. There are a few bits in it that are very tricky, which we'll have a look at, but generally there's not tons going on in this. So we've got drums, quite a few drums. Hats, kicks, snare, cymbals, tambourines. Then we've got those organ chords. They're not too bad. The organ solo is tricky. The guitar solo, obviously that is tricky. Bass is really straightforward, and the brass parts, not too bad. Oh, there's also some guitar chords, which are pretty straightforward, but there's a couple of things going on there that we can have a look at. Anyway, this video, really, we're going to take a look at the guitar solo. Now, first off, I'll say that the best way to get this guitar sounding authentic and all of that, and to do it quickly and easily, is to find a guitar player, preferably a decent one who has a wah pedal and a decent ear, and is willing to practice and learn this part and play it. Because if you can find a guitar player who will do that, then all you've got to do is hit record, and obviously plug the guitar into the interface and hit record. However, I don't know any decent guitar players. That's a lie, but I still sequenced it. So let's have a look at what's going on with this part if you want to sequence it. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you here also applies to the organ solo that you need to tackle later on in the track. But we'll start by looking at the wah guitar. So what I'm going to do is hide everything apart from the original recording of the track. Hide all of that and just leave my guitar. Let's solo those. Okay. Really, the way to approach this is, well, follows the three golden rules that I don't know if you may have watched some of the AS videos on sequencing, but anything where you have to learn and play and recreate a part, the three golden rules are: firstly, practice playing it. Secondly, break it down into smaller chunks. Don't try and learn too much at one time. And thirdly, slow down the tempo. Now in Logic 9 and Logic 10 we've got this fantastic feature called varispeed, with which you can slow down audio just by clicking a button. So if you don't have that in your transport bar to begin with, you will need to customize your transport bar, and you do this by control clicking or right clicking on the transport bar, select customize, and then you want to make sure that this is switched on, varispeed. So with that on, you will have this little plus minus button down here, and you can slow things down to half speed, which is what I've done here. So minus 50% means that the original track will play back like this. Which is really nice way of listening to things at sort of 2 in the morning, but also is very handy when it comes to breaking parts down and hearing what's going on. So slowing the track down with varispeed is really simple. Then all I'm going to do is think about the first phrase of this guitar part. Oops. So just up to there, I think. So this is what I mean by breaking it down. Just take a few notes at a time. And the way that I put this in was literally just listening on a loop to that over and over again, and starting to play along with it and to find the notes as that was playing on a loop. Here's the guitar part that I've already done. Let's just get set up as if we were going to do this from scratch. So instrument track, going to put in a sampler, mono sampler, because guitars are mono instruments. Then I'm just going to find a factory sample electric guitar, and I'm going to go with this one, the Sunburst Electric, which sounds like this. So just a standard clean guitar sound. Now there's a few things going on in this part. There are obviously the notes themselves, but also think about the control, the performance elements of this, and how a guitarist creates a performance beyond just the notes that they're playing. What I mean is we've got things like pitch bend, which guitarists use a lot, so sliding from one note to the next. We've got use of a wah pedal on this one. If you don't know what a wah pedal is, Google it. And we've also got some modulations, so some vibrato. And all of these are really common guitar techniques which we need to try and recreate alongside playing in the notes. So breaking it down, finding the notes. That's my first note, which is an A. Okay, there are the notes: A, C, A, C, A, A. I'm not going to tell you what all the notes are. I'm sure you can work them out for yourself, but let's start with those ones. So now that I've found the notes, I'm not worrying about pitch bend or wah or vibrato or anything else. I'm just going to record in those notes. Let's wait for the very slow count-in bar. Okay, and bear in mind that last note really long, so I was trying to hold that note on as long as I could before we hit the loop point, so I'm just going to stretch that out a bit more. Okay, there are my notes. Now let's think about some of the other things then. So for pitch bend, obviously you can record it in live in real time using your pitch bend wheel. Or you can add it later, which is what I'm going to do here. So in the region you want to open up this hyperdraw lane at the bottom, and then using this arrow over here we're going to switch to pitch bend. Alright, just turn this down so I can hear the track a bit better. So there's some pitch bend on this note. It sort of scoops up to the note. So I'm going to show you a really handy trick for this sort of thing. So zooming right in. Okay, once you've got this lane open, then you've got pitch bend selected, it's just a case of clicking, just like automation, to add different points. So what I want to do is make sure that I've just got a little bit of space at either side of the note. Now to begin with, we want it to be at 0, i.e. no pitch bend, and then we want to come down about halfway down, just before the beginning of this note, and we want it to slide back up to 0. Going to get rid of these, we don't need them, they're silly. And let's listen. Let's turn varispeed off so we can hear it at proper speed. There you go. Now if I wanted to make a bit more of that bend, what I could do is to use the automation curve tool to curve it this way so that it stays down for longer. But really, you can just adjust this to taste. Alright, now with the wah pedal, let's show you how to set this up just on these first few notes. We're going to use the pedal board insert. Okay, and we're going to drag from the bottom of this slot this wah pedal here, this black one, not the blue one next to it. Select that and get rid of it. So this wah pedal is what we're going to use. Now first thing we need to do is, rather than do this with the mouse, is we want to set this up so that we can use a physical controller on our keyboard. So all but the most very basic of keyboards have got a modulation wheel next to the pitch bend wheel, and that's what I'm going to use to set this up. So first thing I'm going to do is just move my pedal. Then I'm going to press Command and L, and then I'm going to move the modulation wheel on my keyboard. Watch just here. Learned. When it says learned, you can close this window, and if I move my modulation wheel now, you can see my wah pedal moving with it. Now when you're recording automation like the wah pedal, I approach this in exactly the same way as doing the notes. So slow it down with varispeed, listen to a little bit at a time, and just really listen out on the original recording for where the tone of the guitar changes, where you think the pedal is being used. So I can hear two places where the wah pedal kicks in. Firstly, it's around here, and then again towards the end of the bar. So here, down, and coming up just there. So when you've got an idea of where the wah pedal is being used, then, just like as you did with the notes, you can practice. So let's bring in the notes that I played earlier on, and I'm going to use my modulation wheel to control the wah pedal as that plays back. Let's open that up so we can see it. And I can't hear it because it's not soloed. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let's try and record in that automation. To record in automation, it's not a case of just hitting record as it is with notes. This is what you need to do. On the channel strip over here, where it says off, I'm going to change this to latch. And then you don't need to hit record, you just need to hit play. So if I switch my automation view on and press play and use my mod wheel, you will see what happens. There we go. When you've finished doing that, always remember to switch it back from latch to read. Otherwise, if you're playing back and listening and you move a control, then that will get recorded, which you probably don't want. So remember to switch it back to read mode. Alright, let's listen to that guitar then on its own now. Turn the varispeed off so we can hear it at the right speed. Okay, I might move some of this automation. Now for editing automation, holding down Shift, draw around the bit you want to edit. In this case, I want to bring this back a little bit. Okay, I'm happier with that. Again, same sort of thing. If you want to make the automation go higher, I'm holding down Shift, draw around the top of that slope, and then I can just drag this up if I want to go higher, and just, whoops, smooth it out a little bit, like so. And that'll do. Alright, so we've got the notes in, we've added some pitch bend, we've added some wah action, and now I'm ready to move on, think about the next few notes. Okay, so pretty simple. Find the notes. Okay, so I'm not worried about the wah. What I'm going to try and do with this one is record in the pitch bend at the same time as I do the notes. So I'm using my pitch bend wheel in real time. Practice that a few times, make sure you're happy with the notes and the pitch bend, and then let's record this again, waiting for the very slow count in. Again, that last note, pretty long. I had to hold that note on right up until almost the end of the bar. So I used a little bit of pitch bend here, just on the first note. Let's just check, listen back to that, see that that plays all right. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I think this note, I brought that in a little bit early, so let's edit the start position. It's better. Close up the gap. Cool. And basically that is the process all the way through the guitar. Now, I grant you it's not tons of fun. It's not the most interesting bit of music production you'll ever do, I hope. But it is a very accurate way of working. Remember the 3 golden rules then? Practice what you're playing, break the part down into chunks, and slow the track down to make it easier to play it back. You'd have to play it up to speed. And that is basically how I got the whole of this guitar part. I mean, it's only 4 bars long, but it is a tricky few bars to get it absolutely accurate. It's worth spending the time then, if you want to get this degree of accuracy, it's worth spending the time listening, following the guidelines that I've just shown you. Let's turn this off and we'll just compare the whole of those guitar 4 bars to the original track. It would help if we could hear them. Okay, so that whole thing, as I said, I got that in by breaking it down, slowing it down, and practicing the notes and the wah movements. One other thing to show you with the wah pedal, over here towards the end, you can see here I've just brought the automation up, the wah level up, for individual notes, like in this little run at the end. Now if there are individual notes or small groups of notes that you want to change the wah for, this is how you do it. I'm holding down 3 keys: Shift, Control and Alternate. Okay, Shift, Control, Alternate, and then I'm just going to draw around this note right here. And you can see what happens. We've got some automation points that have been written in here, and I can click and drag in the middle, drag this level up. And then what I would probably do is just smooth off, give these corners a bit of a ramp. So if we play that back now, you can hear this note and then this one. The only ones affected. So that is a really handy trick for just applying automation to either individual notes or groups of notes. Shift, Control and Alt, drag around the notes and then do what you like with the automation. Let's get rid of that. Cool. Right, that's long enough. That's probably about 20 minutes. So I'll end it there and I'll do another video looking at something else. Bye.